Is guilt a feeling or a word?
Oh, okay.
Tell me.
All right.
What is it? Is it a word or a feeling?
It depends what you make of it, right?
It depends what
Also,
you
your
make.
mind, what you
Oh,
absolutely.
you know the Eastern wisdom. You just said it depends on what you make out of it. Okay, don't make out anything. What is the meaning of the guilt? When you make out of it, you are projecting your feeling on this world. The world and sentence as such does not have a feeling because it is my projection. I project myself. So, what is this I? This is the mind.
Right. Yeah.
My mind is projecting a feeling on the guilt. My mind is projecting a feeling on the sense of insecurity. My mind is projecting a feeling of harm. Otherwise, Otherwise, every book published until today will contain all kinds of feelings. I project the feeling by reading, by speaking, by thinking.
What do you mean? You project it or you absorb it?
The moment I listen and I speak a particular sentence or a word, I keep on projecting my feeling based on my understanding. It is not the feeling is present in the book.
Right.
Emotions are not present in the book.
No.
Otherwise, Google does not present the feeling. When you start searching Google any word or anything, it does not contain a feeling. It is my projection.
Yeah.
It is my projection when I say I love you or I hate you.
Mm-hmm.
So I have picked up the fancy word which is guilt. Then I want to live in fancy, to harm myself,
Yeah.
to harm myself. You see that? That's what I say. I'm not criticizing, but this is a fact. I believe science because I follow logic, reasoning,
Yeah.
and I don't follow the blind belief. If you find out 100 years ago, there were hardly hundreds psychological illnesses. As compared to today, there are more than 3,000 psychological illnesses, and every year it goes on increasing. And if you ask them, do you have 100% treatment? They know the answer best. What we are saying, we say they are the defects of the mind. They are the impurities of the mind. Learn how to transcend the mind. Learn how not to entertain the thoughts, feeling that is causing you the harm. That will take your mind to the in a opposite direction. Why you entertain the thoughts of a guilt or self-harm? Why? That is what is the incomplete knowledge. Complete knowledge, no problem at all. Do you know your house? Complete knowledge, yes, there is no problem. The mind does not fall into anxiety or any reaction. No, 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 I have to find out my house, then I have to go. Do you know your car? Yes, you know. Do you know your name? Yes. Do you know your gender? Yes. It's a complete knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
The complete knowledge, no problem. Complete ignorance, no problem. Problem is incomplete knowledge. That is what we say the ignorance. Why incomplete knowledge? I have a misconception. I have a wrong notion. Now think of from where the wrong notion comes. By thinking. Wrong notion, misconception comes by thinking. Whether it's a guilt or I don't want to add any another word. The word suicide, you see.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
you
And
see, you pick up any word, and then we start finding. You find it in the Google, what is guilt? So they give you 10 different explanations, and you say, out of the 10, 5 belongs to me. Five belongs to you. Five belongs to you.
all right, fine.
Then I will talk to Philippe that, I have been living in guilt. So don't worry, because I have been living in guilt. Your kidney will become all right.
Yeah.
do,
Okay.
do, do you see that?
Yeah.
So, so incomplete knowledge contains all the psychological illnesses. Now I'm just blending together modern
Yes.
psychology and Eastern wisdom.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, can I say that incomplete knowledge is nothing but all the psychological illnesses? Because I'm a conscious being. So, I should be taught what is the complete knowledge about myself. I should not dig in deep inside. I have one psychotherapist started attending my session on Mondays and Thursdays. Many, many people contacted me.
Yeah.
They have to go by the book. You
Yes.
have these symptoms, it means you have anxiety, or you have anxiety disorder, you have depression, or you have schizophrenia, or you have this. We say simply, can you transcend the mind? Everything is happening in the mind.
Yes.
And the
That's true.
mind is totally unconscious, in complete ignorance, in deep sleep. So in deep sleep, the mind, we do not know what we think. There is no memory lane. So now bring that sleep state at the conscious level. That is the beginning of meditation. Mind, don't think. No, no, I have a guilt. If the world is not there, the feeling will not be there.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Huh?
Because the word gives you the feeling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Word is loaded with feeling.
The word is loaded with the feeling. But then I keep on thinking that I am guilty and I am guilty and I am guilty. Why don't you create a poster and hang in your neck? Then I am guilty.
Yes. That's true.
Wherever you go outside. So we do not understand that I can become aware of this. I need not to repeat it. But still, because of the heavy conditioning by the society, by the culture, by the modern understanding, we keep on repeating. Once we have picked up the word, either guilty or anxiety or duality and a conflict, and then we carry forward, we create millions of the thoughts surrounding the main word.
Yeah.
And
And
then
I
what?
think that, especially in
Yeah.
the Protestant religion, which I was brought up,
Oh,
they always speak of guilt. And what guilt, really?
they always think of a guilt, and
Um,
they always think, we
uh,
have done something wrong.
it's incredible. My favorite cantata. It's a Bach. It's a music. It's out of this world. It's so beautiful. If you hear music like that, I said, yes, God must exist. If you think of the Holocaust, is that God cannot exist. And, and hearing the Bach music or the cantata I've been singing, it's the most gorgeous music, and all of a sudden, oh, it's my, let me live through my guilt. The word guilt comes up and goes around and round with the most beautiful music. But you know,
Yes. You are
it's
making a
incredible. It's such a duality
you
that
are
has.
you are making a very beautiful point. You see that you are seeing me and I am seeing you. Pay attention that these sense organs by default always ready to receive the respective knowledge. The eyes receive the knowledge of the color in the form, the ears. By default, if there is some sound outside, I can hear it. My ears are always ready. My eyes are always ready. My nose is always ready. Do you see? My skin is always ready to feel that touch. So these are the instruments of the knowledge. They are always ready for a perception. But now who add the spices? My mind. My mind adds the spices, that perception plus projection. And that projection contains the feeling, emotions, past, memory. Perception plus projection is the impurity of the mind. So, what is the purity of the mind? Perception minus projection. So, what that projection contains? Projection contains I love you, that is attachment. That also causes the problem. Projection contains guilt. Projection contains anxiety. Projection contains duality. Projection contains depression. Perception is natural. Perception plus projection comes from the mind. And that mind contains all these thoughts associated with the feeling. To tell you a beautiful example that my master used to say, he says that you are born with the parents in the society where the word craziness means a big smile. You are brought up. That word is defined in your community as a big smile. So now I am brought up in a different society. So the same word has two meanings for two people. And then I come and say, are you crazy, Anne? So because you are educated, crazy means a big smile, and so you start smiling. And that makes me more angry. Because I'm pointing you some fault and you have started smiling. So now how the conversation between the two will go forward? That is the problem that we have been living with. So sometimes people say in the group, you are crazy. Yes, oh, you don't know. I'm more crazy than you think. So that sense of duality, that sense of projection, again come back. We give one word, incomplete knowledge. We are in ignorance about ourselves. We are not made up of guilt. We are not made up of anything negative emotion. Those negative emotion is nothing but the misunderstanding, misconception, projection. Nothing to no guilt. And if you say
Right.
you live your 24 hours of the life and you tell me what you have been thinking, with every thought I will create one guilt.
That's right. Yeah.
It's a matter of thinking.
Yeah.
You can switch on every thought towards the guilt. No, I did not drink a cup of coffee, so I have a lot of guilt.
That's right. No, I drank cup of coffee, so you have lots of guilt too. Because some doctors say it's bad for you, some say it's good for
Sometimes it's good. Yes, yes, you are getting it. Yes, now the Eastern wisdom is going deep inside.
you. Okay.
We are not responsible for what is happening in the world outside. I am 100% responsible to myself. And at the same time, if we remember that peace and happiness are my essential nature, can guilt go with the peace and happiness?
Yeah.
And peace and happiness, can peace and happiness attracts the guilt, attracts any kind of complex, attracts the emotional dependence? No. When I know I am happiness, I'm independent. I have a sense of freedom.
Yeah.
Why we learn Eastern wisdom? Just to have that sense of emotional freedom all the time. And to recognize that it is within me. Happiness is within me. That is what is the journey. And that is why it takes a long time, because every day, every time, the mind picks up something from the past. It picks up some misconceptions.
That's
It
true.
picks up some wrong notions.
It's something, it's like boiling from
You,
down
sh-
here up to the surface. It's
my mind is remembering. You should feel guilt, very big guilt, because you are not taking care of your friend who is living so near to you.
oh, it's true. True. Because, of course, the Christian religion teaches you have to love your enemy,
You have to love your enemy.
more so your friend. Yeah.
We have distorted that feeling, in fact. We have distorted that principle. I won't say that this statement is wrong, where from it is coming. So now you see a very normal, wrong interpretation. You should love your enemy. This is what you said?
That's what they say. That's what the Christian religion says.
Yeah, so have a pet cobra. Cobra as your pet. So it is more symbolic. It is more pointing to the impurities of the mind.
Yeah.
You have to think from that perspective. Then we can understand this religious principle. So what that says that your enemy is your friend, so that your mind does not have an enmity, and you work towards removing the same enmity. That is the basic meaning. But that we have twisted. Why? Because we don't have enough time. For God, we have only time just to attend a mass prayer and just to say, "Oh Jesus," and that is done.
Mhm.
So we don't go to this. Every religion has their, if the principles are founded by some great masters, so it means we have to look from that perspective, what it means. This is my interpretation. You see, this is our interpretation. My enemy is our friend. So can we have a cobra as a pet? No.
Mhm.
So did the Jesus said this? No, Jesus cannot say that. He is a wise. He is a wise and he is full of compassion. We don't have time to think.
Mhm.
We don't have a time to contemplate. Every religion has their beauty, but we confine ourselves. We get so much limited and narrow-minded while living a religious life. And what is living confinement and living a religious life is incomplete knowledge.
Yeah.
Your God is not all pervading. My God is all pervading. Does it make any sense? So when God is all pervading, it is all pervading. No, no, no. I can prove your God is not all pervading. My God is
Yeah.
all pervading. So I'm fighting. Why I'm fighting? Because I have an incomplete knowledge. That is what our masters are saying. You have an incomplete knowledge. Correct it. Remove the misconception. So when we remove the misconception, then we respect and religion. I used to go to Methodist church, and there I used to focus on and even in Princeton I went couple of times. They
You
invited
did?
me. Yeah,
Oh,
they invited me in those days.
private talk
Yeah,
or
and then they said, "Why you are what you are looking into the Jesus?" I said, "I'm looking. My master is there. I don't see any difference. It's a difference between the skin and the color and the height and the beard. Inside, inside the skin, everyone is same." So we don't have a time to remove those misconceptions, and those misconceptions can only be removed by knowledge, complete knowledge. So the entire journey of the Eastern wisdom, I have been saying this: complete knowledge or complete ignorance. We, in both the cases, we are happy. We are in bliss. We already know complete ignorance is bliss. Every day we sleep for 5, 6, 7 hours and we wake up and the mind retrieves the memory. Oh, I had a sound sleep. So what is that? I was not aware of the body and the mind totally. So how I am aware of the body and the mind? By a thought. Oh, so is there a state where I can transcend the body and mind duality? That is what the mindfulness and meditation is. And it takes, what it takes, such a simple way to understand is thought me. Thought belongs to me. It is not me. I am not the thought. So when I am not the thought, it is the same. I know and I am not the end. So I know a thought of the guilt and I am not this thought. Because whatever my mind knows in the world is definitely separate from me. But I am a wonderful mother, so I feel this guilt is sticking to me. Now you see that. You see the clarity. So from incomplete knowledge, now you are in a complete knowledge. No thought can be sticking like a glue to me because every thought is different. Why every thought is different? Because mind contains this thought, and I am not the mind. That is 100% clear. I am not the mind. So when I am not the mind, what contains in the mind is also not me. No, except one thing, guilt.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
Yeah.
same thing, add same thing.
Framed by the culture. Yeah.
All thought, you are right, no thought belongs to me except a thought of anxiety. So then I have an anxiety.
That's right.
Do you see that?
Yeah.
Go a little deeper. All thought, no thought belongs to me except a thought that I am a woman. No, look deep inside the skin. You are recognized as a woman because of the physical body. But ask yourself, are you the body? No, I'm not the body. Because I possess the body, I own the body. Oh, so what do you mean? I'm a human being? Yes. Then inquire further. Human plus being is a human being. That being never changes in life. Only the human frame is changing. You were 5 years old, you were 10 years old, you were 50 years old, and now and. What did change in the I? Nothing changes in the I. And I told you, that's a very wonderful. Before we, one of my classmate in bachelor's was looking for me. He found me on the Google, and then we had a virtual meeting. So he was very thin like me, but I could see him double, very obese, suffering from the diabetes. Now I say, my friend, whom I'm addressing, his body is totally different. And he said, my friend, no, you have a gray beard. We met at the age of 20 years when we both were in 20s. Oh, you had all the hairs here also. So now tell me, who is recognizing who? Am I recognizing him through the body? Body is a reference point. But I'm recognizing I. I'm recognizing he that is different from the body, that is different from the mind. And luckily, what happened, I recognize that he works in LA, he works in California, in some IT company. But we did not recognize through of our body because our body has changed, our face has changed, our eyes have changed.
Yeah, there is a story. One guy in the street sees an old friend. Oh, hi Arthur, how are you? Oh my goodness, you have changed so much. I remember you smaller and you were bigger. And then the guy says, "Oh, I'm sorry. My name is not Arthur. What? You changed your name too?"
That is a complete ignorance. That is where we live in ignorance. You see that? We don't see. Now I was surprised and I reflected then how he recognized me and how I recognized him. So that I did not change. That I did not change over the year, more than 40 years. And we used to have affection for each other. We used to have a wonderful relationship and the same feeling return. But body, I don't see the same body. I don't see the same face. I don't see the same his eloquent, because he has been here for the last 30 years. So his accent, American accent, is totally understandable. I have yet to follow that American accent. But in spite of all the differences, there is one common point, that is I. In me, I in him. So it means that I is real, not what has been changing. Today mind says I am guilty, tomorrow says I am happy, third day it says, I am depressed. Hell with you, mind, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. You stick to this. When you stick to this, what it means? You are not allowing the projection to take hold of your mind to create a vicious circle that will cause a lot of challenges in your life. Do you want to welcome these crazy stuff in your mind at this age? If yes, then think about guilt. Spend at least 2 hours on the word guilt on the Google. Write a paper and send to me.
Okay.
Right? No, not at all. We have nothing to do with it.
Right. Good. I'll tell that to my mind.
Now I'm going to send you the audio file, so you have to listen to it
Okay.
again and again. And again and again, and we are born free after having a birth. We are born from the moment we are born, we were totally unconscious. We are in total ignorance. We don't know who we are. We don't know our capacity. So the complete ignorance was also a bliss for us in a waking state. Do you see that?
Yeah.
But when problem is that our parents, society, culture, religion, they all have conditioned our life. They forced us to believe, to declare what I am based on their projections. That is the problem. So we continue to live in incomplete ignorance. That is the biggest challenge that we have to face. So because we are heavily conditioned, they are the impurities of the mind. And that is what Eastern wisdom says, that you have to purify the mind to become a seeker so that you can understand it easily. And you can find out who you are. So are you a guilt?
What is that?
Are you a guilt? So no way.
All right. I'll listen